Yeah, what's up, y'all? So, we back with another vlog. It's actually a Monday morning. Today's actually the first day of school for me. I'm actually about to, go through my second to last semester. I got technically I got the spring semester left, honestly. Yeah, so, I'm officially a senior in college. But that's neither here or there, you know. We on the way to the gym right now. Finna go lock in, get it in. But I wanted to make this video to address something that's actually been on my chest for a while now, that I've actually been trying to explain to people for, I say, the last 6 to 8 months. With me being somebody who has been heavily in the real estate space for going on almost a decade. I bet I started 7 years ago. It's actually crazy, considering I'm not even 30 yet, and I almost have a full 10-year experience in the business. But I wanted to say, as you guys see in the title, investing into real estate for most people is a complete waste of time. And what do I mean by that? Of course, you're gonna have your people who are in the military or people who are already established gonna say, hey, what's wrong with investing into real estate? Now, if you already have money, you have funds, you're not out here struggling, let's say you rich already, you buying real estate, for the tax advantages, that's completely different. But when it comes to the average everyday American, especially in 2025, who is barely making $40,000 a year, can barely pay their own bills by themselves, and which most Americans are living check to check and are going through it and struggling trying to pay off debt. I know, I see it every day. Most of my clients who I work with, I see the struggle, even in the real estate market. A lot of people can't even afford to buy anything because the way the economy is right now. Most people, with me being in college, a lot of people actually don't know how, I'm 25, so I'm still relatively younger than most people who be on the internet preaching. But a lot of people really don't know, it's a lot of people out here going through it, struggling, can barely feed themselves, and they can't qualify for a census either. But I wanted to make this particular video to explain why investing into real estate is a scam, especially when you're first starting out. A lot of people who, sold you on this dream of investing into real estate, buying a whole bunch of single-family houses in the hopes to retire and live off of that income at 65, it's a bunch of BS. Number one, if you already can barely afford to pay your bills, taking on debt to buy a single family property is career suicide. A lot of people are not aware, when you buy real estate, especially single family homes, and you don't know what you're doing, like most people, buying a single family home as an investment property is the worst. As an investment vehicle, it's one of the worst decisions you can make, especially after you consider and calculate all of how much it's actually going to cost to keep up the particular property. Also, figuring that, you would actually, how much money it's going to cost for you to even pay off that particular property within 30 days. All I'm getting at is the same amount of time that a lot of people will put into buying real estate, and this goes for flipping homes too, putting money into flipping a home. You could put that same energy into a high level skill set. Let's say plumbing, let's say HVAC, let's say doing roofs, start your own company and make way more profit and be able to keep that profit rather than you in debt and trying to be a landlord. I don't know what it is, but especially this past generation, post 2020, everybody's obsessed with being a landlord, and a lot of people have never went through the actual stories, the horror stories. I've heard the horror stories of being a landlord, especially for single family units or just even flipping. Like, a lot of people don't know, like, when it comes to flipping real estate, most people who are in the flipping business don't profit at all. That's something like, a lot of these gurus are not going to tell you, especially like when it comes to taking out the hard money loan, and then the hard money loan for every day that you don't close, you're being charged a holding fee, which even if it's $80, it can still build up. A lot of people are not aware that, like, buying real estate, or especially, and I would say buying real estate too early on, because there's nothing wrong with buying real estate if you know what you're doing and you're already established. But for a lot of these people starting out, a lot of you people are like committing career suicide, getting these hard money loans, barely have money to be able to pay yourself and be able to pay your own bills, but you are going out your way to buy a fixer-upper, and you already don't have a team. Most of these people are going to be in the negative. If you do a study on most real estate investors of any sort, most of them end up on the negative. Even people who decide that they want to do Airbnb. Now, if you're in certain markets like Miami, or certain parts of LA, this doesn't necessarily apply to you. But for the average people around the country, a lot of these people, once you calculate, your mortgage, once you calculate utilities and just repairs, a lot of people are not profiting on their Airbnbs. They're not profiting on their long-term rentals. They're pretty much not profiting off of any of it, because so they were trying to rely off that sole vehicle to support and sustain their particular lifestyle. Another thing too, a lot of people are actually sold and I feel bad for a lot of people who are actually sold the dream of, if I buy 100 properties, I'll be able to retire. Who in their right mind wants to take on loans for over 100 single family properties? If anything, most people would be better off, if anything, investing into multi-units. But even then, like I said, guys, like, if you guys don't know what you're doing, a lot of this stuff is a waste of time. A lot of you guys would be better off becoming commercial real estate agents, or doing something like getting into roofing, getting into or even just getting into high ticket sales like life insurance, or becoming a roofer and starting your own roofing company. Because a lot of this whole real estate stuff is a bunch of waste of time. Like, a lot of you guys are going to be pouring years and years and years into this business, and then when you actually look at the numbers and you analyze, how much have I made versus how much would you have made doing other stuff, a lot of people will realize, like, bro, you ain't really making no money. Especially, like, when you start your first flip, and let's say, you borrow, 100,000, you profit, let's say, like 20,000. You got to put that 20,000 into that next property to keep it going. This is why a lot of people actually get out of the flipping business. But a lot of people won't tell you that, because a lot of people on the internet are trying to sell you lies and stuff, or tell you guys certain things that doesn't necessarily apply to you. Like, when it comes to investing into anything, a lot of this stuff is scenario based. It doesn't apply to everybody. And that's one thing that a lot of people really don't understand, and a lot of people who are not in the real estate business don't understand. Buying real estate is subjective, and buying real estate is not for everybody. In fact, in my personal opinion, it's not for most people. But, a lot of people think, okay, you get like, first 10,000, which in the real estate business, 10,000 is nothing. You can put 10,000 into, the stock market and make some pretty decent returns, depending on the time, versus the returns that you will make in the real estate business. But, that's neither here or there. All I'm saying is, a lot of you guys who are watching this video, who are thinking, about getting into the real estate business, and you already don't have any money, I highly advise against it. Like, if anything, you guys are like committing career suicide and putting yourself in a situation where you don't need to be. But for a lot of you guys who do want to learn the real estate business, become an agent, get into wholesaling. In fact, there's a lot of wholesalers who make a lot more money than people who are actually doing flipping houses and even like having rental clients. Like, yeah, like, guys, it's a way that you do everything. But yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. You know, we dropping content every day. We at it. I'm out here at the gym finna get it in. You know, like, subscribe, share. Peace.